So this one is pop quiz 6, which is related to topic electrolysis. In the first question, an electrolysis experiment using a carbon electrode means like the inert electrode, hydrogen and oxygen are formed at the electrodes. So what is the electrolyte? How we identify this? So if we check, if it was aqueous copper 2 sulfate, and we have the two electrodes, anode and cathode, and we are doing electrolysis of aqueous copper 2 sulfate, which contain copper ion, sulfate ion, hydrogen ion, and hydroxide ion. So for positive ion, the less reactive positive ion will move. In this case, copper is less reactive. So copper ion will move towards the respective electron. So when copper ion will move towards the respective electrode, as a result, what will happen? It will form copper. So there will be a formation of the copper at cathode. And sulfate, nitrate, and carbonate never move. So hydroxide ion will move there. When hydroxide ion will move there, when four hydroxide ions, they will lose 4 electrons. This will give oxygen into 1 molecule. So there will be oxygen, but there is no hydrogen. That's why it cannot be A. Then we check with option B. If you are doing electrolysis of concentrated hydrochloric acid. So if you are doing electrolysis of the concentrated hydrochloric acid, so which contain hydrogen ion, chloride ion, hydrogen ion, and hydroxide ion. Because it's positive ion, so hydrogen will move. But for negative ion, we check the amount because it is concentrated. It means it has more Cl than OH. So then chlorine will move. So here at anode we'll have chlorine, and at cathode we'll have hydrogen. So this cannot be an answer. When we check option C, if we have dilute sodium chloride. So if we have dilute sodium chloride, which contains sodium ion, chloride ion, hydrogen ion, and hydroxide ion. So positive ion, less reactive will move, so hydrogen will move. And for negative ion, we check the amount. Dilute means it contains more OH, so OH ion will move there. And whenever OH ions will move there, it will give off oxygen. So that's why hydrogen and oxygen, so C will be the right answer. If you are doing potassium oxide molten, then it will form potassium and oxygen. Is it clear? Question 1. In question 2, concentrated copper sulfate electrolyzed using a copper electrode. So means anode and cathode are made of copper. So anode and cathode consist of copper. So there is copper, also this copper. Connected to a battery, positive and negative, and aqueous copper 2 sulfate is there concentrated. So copper ion, sulfate ion, hydrogen ion, and hydroxide. First, the less reactive will move. We have write an ionic equation, describe the reaction take place at cathode. So this one is a cathode, this one is anode. So what will happen at cathode? The copper ions from the electrolyte attracted towards the cathode. So when copper ions are attracted, copper is +2. It will take 2 electrons and it will form a copper atom. So copper ion turn into copper atom by gain of electrons. So option D is the right answer. And what will happen at anode? The copper atoms will go inside the solution as a copper ion. Like copper atom turn into copper ion by loss of 2 electrons. So, but we need equation for cathode, so in which the copper ion gains electron and form a copper metal. Here, size of the cathode will increase and the size of anode will decrease. But the electrolyte does not change. There will be no change in the electrolyte. An object is electroplated using a silver, with silver using an aqueous copper silver salt. What is the correct row? So object, like we have anode is there, Anode should be made from the metal, like we want a silver layer, so it should be made from silver. The cathode, the object which we want to electroplate, and the electrolyte should be a soluble salt of that metal, which we want a layer. Like if we want a silver layer, then it should be an aqueous silver nitrate. The object which we want to electroplate, the object should be connected with cathode. And is the other electrode made from because we want a silver layer, so other should be made of silver. So cathode and silver, that's why option D is the right answer. Which diagram shows the direction of movement of ions and electrons in electrolysis? Look, for when we have the electrodes like positive and negative, so electron will move out from a negative terminal towards the cathode, and electrons are attracted towards the positive terminal of the battery from anode. So the direction of the electron flow, when we check, so direction of electron flow, it should be towards cathode. So this is towards cathode. You can see electrons are going towards cathode, and it should be from anode towards the power supply. That's the direction of electron flow is correct. And what about the movement of the ions? As we are doing electrolysis of molten sodium chloride, so sodium is a positive ion attracted towards cathode, and chlorine is a negative ion attracted towards anode. That's why A is the right answer. Why B is correct, incorrect? Because for B, the movement of ions is not correct. Because like sodium is positive, it cannot move towards positive anode. Like it should be attracted towards the cathode. So the movement of electrons, it's from negative terminal of the battery towards the cathode and from anode towards the positive terminal. And the movement of the ions, the positive ions attracted towards cathode and the negative ions attracted towards the anode. Molten sodium chloride and concentrated aqueous sodium chloride are electrolytes using a platinum electrode. What are the product at negative electrode or a cathode in electrolysis? So if you have molten sodium chloride, it contains sodium ion. It contains sodium ion, it contains chloride ion. So sodium ions attracted towards cathode. So there will be a formation of a sodium. In this case, molten sodium chloride, there will be a formation of a sodium. And if we have aqueous concentrated sodium chloride, which contains sodium ion, chloride ion, hydrogen ion, and hydroxide ion. So towards the cathode, hydrogen is less reactive, so it will move towards the cathode. And then Cl will move towards anode. But they're asking for product at cathode. So in this case, there will be hydrogen. So sodium and hydrogen, C is the right answer. This question is related to the moles concept. 20 cm cube of a sulfuric acid reacted with 25 cm cube of 0.2 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide. Calculate the number of moles in 25 and 0.2. So how to solve? Because we have the volume and we have the concentration. So moles equal concentration into volume. 0.2 is the concentration and the volume 25 divided by 1000. So this will give us the moles, which will be 0.005. After getting a moles of sodium hydroxide, we need moles of sulfuric acid. So what we take, because the first part we solve by formula, the second one we'll use a ratio. So what is the ratio between sulfuric acid and sodium hydroxide? The ratio is 1:2. So if we have 0.005, then this will be X. Cross multiply. It will be half of it, which is 0.0025. And now the concentration we need. We have the formula. Again, the third part is by formula. So we have the formula that moles equal concentration into volume. Moles of sulfuric acid, we work out which was 0.0025. Concentration, we don't know. What about volume of sulfuric acid? That is 20. But in cm cube, you have to convert into decimeter cube. So it will be 0.02. And 0.02 is multiplied, other side will be divided. So you will get the concentration of sulfuric acid, which is 0.125 moles per decimeter cube. So first part is by formula, the second is by ratio, and the third is again by formula. So it is formula, ratio, formula. Is it clear, this part?
Yes, sir.
So this was a pop quiz discussion from topic electrolysis and the moles.